That is a star-studded QB2.
Yeah, it's going to be scary. Let's see what's going to be banned away as we hop into the ban phase of the pick and ban here. Senna already taken off the board here by JDG. Not wanting to deal with those shenanigans, and we're going to have to see something else out of Yagao. His 2 in a row as they are going to be taken away.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I wonder if G2 are going to ban Graves here. There's the Maokai ban up against G2. Lots of teams prioritizing that one. But Kanavi is the one player that I think of as the carry jungler of this tournament who will never go for things like the Maokai.
Yumi's still up,
Yumi's still up. Graves is still up. G2. What are they going to...
Yumi or Caitlyn gets left up here.
Or Graves. I mean, that's also a worthwhile ban here. We did see a gentleman's agreement. No ban, no pick Yumi yesterday. We could have that again, but Kais is going to be banned. So I like this from G2. They're like, we can just get 2 of the big picks. You pick one of them. I don't think it's necessarily the greatest of choices.
The crowd is erupting. The boos are coming out. Yumi might be the pick, and it is indeed for JDG. Now the question is, does G2 try to deny things that JDG will want? Things that come to mind are the Caitlyn. Things that come to mind are the Graves. What is their option?
Yeah, I definitely think, especially jungle priority there with the Graves. It has been so good in Worlds games, in Champions Queue games. It is the go-to carry jungler. And this determining pick here, the first 3 for G2, will show what type of strategy they want to go with. Caps on Sylas, though, people will be happy to see that. This is definitely one of those playmaking champions. You know, this, the Akali, something like that is what G2 fans definitely want.
Yeah, we'll see what they round out the 2-3 with here, JDG, to match. They have a lot of options. You know, you can pick jungle AD carry with the Yumi, make sure you don't have to drop to 4-5.
Whoa!
Seraphine picked up, so that must be Flakkit or Targamas' Seraphine. A flex in the bot side. Now, normally they play that with the Senna. The Senna's taken away. We could see something a bit crazy from G2 here along the lines of Seraphine Swain. Targamas plays a lot of Swain. Or a normal AD carry paired up with the Seraphine. Looks like it'll be a Sivir here for JDG.
I think the Seraphine always does so much better when it gets farm, it gets money too. So I'm hoping it goes into the hands of Flakkit and it's not going to be the kind of starved support role. Meanwhile, for Yagao though, does he want to lock in like skill matchup like Akali or something like that, or go with the farm?
Ooh, I like the LeBlanc. That's an exciting choice. I'd like them to lock away the Graves here.
Skill!
I think it'd be very important for G2 to be able to get some extra damage of the physical variety. But that's Renekton, just locked away here. I'm personally feeling a little bit worried about JDG because we've seen Renektons used against them to zero effect.
No very
work out at all.
Definitely struggled on 0-4-0. I think he was on the Renekton. This won't be a flex for JDG. We haven't seen Yagao play Renekton once this summer. Now, it could be something he plays first time here on the world stage, but 369 is a Renekton connoisseur. This is going to be the Graves denial and pickup for Jankos. Of course, such a strong meta jungler right now in terms of the carry junglers. And with Maokai Sejuani being down, there's a little... the tank pool has been pinched.
And I think it's necessary to get it now, before the next round of bans, because you're already showing Seraphine having that more supportive, carry from the bottom lane here. So get Jankos on that Graves is going to be huge here. Matchup into Kanavi.
They will need frontline topside, though. I wonder if an Ornn ban here for JDG is worth it.
I'm thinking, too, some of the answers into Graves, because Graves have become so popular, a lot of junglers have been practicing these pocket picks. You know, the Nidalee has been used, but you can also take the skill matchup of the Kindred. Saw a bunch of these games in Champions Queue immediately slammed down by a couple of the LPL junglers.
Yeah, and my mind is going towards some of the old, Damwon Kia drafts, right? Where you've got the Renekton, you've got an AD mid lane as well, and you pick up that Nidalee that Kanavi was very good at in the past. I think you might be onto something there, Kobe.
Yeah, I think Nidalee or Taliyah, these are the two AP junglers with the most setup. And G2 have banned away the Akali. They can drop another ban here. Something like the Victor would make a lot of sense. Taliyah is a good ban as well because it covers off Yagao being able to play that as well into the Sylas, which can be a good matchup in denying the Sylas to push and stopping him from being able to roam around the map. The worked ground, doing a lot of work in team fights against Sylas Graves with these dashes.
Yeah, the classic Akali going to be taken away, used into Sylas quite often, as mentioned. So what is going to be alongside it? The Bel'Veth, taken off the board, of course, another favorite of Kanavi's.
I'm so sad, too, because I really wanted there to be more Bel'Veth on the world stage here, but they answer with the Pike as well. The combination with Seraphine there, looking for that roam. You leave the Seraphine by itself, it can just blow up the wave and let Targamas roam around. I think that's a smart ban from JDG.
JDG have a lot of options here. They could go for something like LeBlanc Lee Sin here on 4-5. They could also go for things like the Taliyah, which could work in mid and jungle, and pair that up with things like the Viego. So I think they they have so many options on this 4-5. It's just a case of what they feel most comfortable running into G2's draft. If this Alistar gets locked in, that's going to be a Seraphine AD carry.
And I think it's the same idea as the Pyke would have been, right? Your Seraphine, you can leave it by itself. It can blow up the wave against the Sivir Yuumi, and you can go roaming around. Whenever you're playing versus Yuumi, you can either go for kills in lane, or you can go for those roaming plays. Sivir also is very vulnerable to Alistar because you will always be able to get that headbutt pulverized combination without the, regardless of spell shield.
There's the Viego, so now that's going jungle. There's the Taliyah Viego. It makes the most sense in JDG's draft. Now, I think G2 here, as every EU team probably would do, an Orin on 5 makes the most sense. More engage, more follow-up. The problem they have is Renix and Taliyah are going to focus on this top side, and if you pick something in terms of like a skill matchup that can match them like a Gnar, you may fall behind. Oh my god! He's gone for Darius instead! So he calls their bluff. It's going to be an Armageddon on the top side of the map here for both of these teams.
This is G2 though. This is Broken Blade. Send resources to top lane. Top lane carry. Broken Blade, let's get it. Oh my goodness. Darius is just a champ you slam down when you want to dominate that lane.
And we saw the Darius ban, I think it was yesterday, EG taking that away from Broken Blade. I can't remember if it was in the first or second ban phase. He's been practicing this in Champions queue and in solo queue as well against double melee topside of the Renekton and the Viego. He could get work done here. He's calling JDG's bluff.
I will say it is so scary. If you ever get ganked by the Taliyah as well, you get stunned, you are immediately going to get Seismic Shove here, full comboed in. So JDG definitely have the resources to also attack this champion that has no inherent escapes.
And fun fact, Broken Blade actually got a pentakill on this champion in Schalke against G2 in 2021. So this is something he has played on the big stage before. Not so much at Worlds, of course, but he has the confidence to pull it out here.
This is going to be a very interesting one, gentlemen. I'm not going to mention things about maybe range advantages for JDG because we're really hyped about G2's draft right now, especially with that Darius. I think we've seen it banned a few times here and there, especially in play-ins earlier on. So this is something that a lot of our players have been testing out. We'll see whether it's going to work out here for G2 because there are certainly some question marks for me as to how this one's going to go, but I like this a lot more. Being able to play around caps, I think is just so important.
Ghost Flash, maybe, like you have to with Darius. Get that lane dominance, Broken Blade going with both mobility summoners to really lay it on thick.
And that's the thing, right? You'll see it once we get into the game. Beautiful banners across the summoner's rift, but Broken Blade is playing this Darius with Ghost and Flash, as does every Darius in all of your solo queue games. Means that he has no TP. Any bad trades could come back to bite him, but Flacket has the TP on the Seraphine. Yagao chose to go for the Ignite, but has the Spellbook, so he can swap the TP worst case in the mid to late game. But I think a lot of our focus this game, gentlemen, is going to be topside.
Oh, for sure it is. There will be blood.
That is an absolutely easy one. Of course, over the side of JDG, not the most interesting as far as the top side is concerned, but we're going to have our eyes glued to Broken Blade on this Darius. Because I think it's going to be very important for G2 to be able to put a stop to JDG's ability to get this Yuumi Sivir to the late game.
It's so exciting to watch, too, because especially from jungle perspective, with this many volatile lanes, you have a lot of opportunities. Kanavi here, he could actually go play off of Taliyah early on. You get that Flash Viego stun on a Sylas when he's going off on melee minions, and you can definitely set up the easy Seismic Shove that way, too.
Yeah, I'm just going to highlight this ward here that JDG have placed. Now, this ward right here actually covers the Graves from doing something like a red and then going over the wall or coming around here. This ward spots out both of them, which could mean that Kanavi loses these topside camps and then innately cannot contest the topside. This covers that off.
Exactly, and speaking of the other wards, caps there we saw with the super delayed ward in on red, trying to see about Kanavi trying to come to play with the Taliyah, that stun into Seismic Shove play too. So they know he's going to be wrapping around here off of Raptors. And we'll see if they both ping-pong back up to the top side.
The only thing that's really worth mentioning in the bot side is, of course, the Yuumi will scale really well and the Alistar works into the Sivir. So in the case of bot lane, G2 have set up to make aggressive plays onto JDG if they want to. But if this is left in isolation, JDG will naturally get the push.
Yeah, and is there a bit of a difficulty here with the fact that it will be a bit of an island towards the bottom side? Do G2 need to be able to win down there, or is it just about keeping it even?
I think the strategy is you can just have Flacket 1v2 by himself on the Seraphine, focus on blowing up the wave, and get Targamas to even roam up to the top side too. Alistar plays to make it really spicy.
I like that. Get the cow out of the paddock. Make sure he's getting around there, doing what he needs to do. JDG with a lot of shove here towards this bottom side, of course, will generally do that until Flacket gets, an item or two. Sivir's Ricochet still works relatively well, especially when you can get control of the wave, as Kanavi's going to take the blue buff. Broken Blade battling here towards the top side. not winning out against 369's pretty famous Renekton at this point in time.
Yeah, really famous for his Renekton and his Aatrox is 369. So misses
Got it.
out on the Q onto 369. 369 actually going to step up, cool down on that.
He got the cannon though.
And as Broken Blade pushed the first 2 waves and he ran into the blue buff jungle and put a ward down, spotted Kanavi. So he's seen Kanavi come up here. He just needs to be very careful. He knows he's there. He has the information.
Well, the flash comes out. The ghost is there as well. Broken Blade definitely wanted to get out of there. Jankos on the Krogs at the moment, not going to need to assist just yet. As Gao full health, going to take caps below half.
It was a beautiful game of chicken, because like H was saying, they have that information there, so he's waiting for it, he's expecting it, and still, JDG, 1 for 2 on the summoner spells because the ghost also popped there, and Kanavi did not flash follow, and here they're going to meet up in the tri-brush again.
Yeah, well, let's see whether they can actually get the kill. No summoner spells like you say. Jankos is going to get over here. 369 a little bit separated.
No flash.
Fully stacked up passive as Broken Blade's going to walk it out. There's first blood for the Darius. And Kanavi's going to need to run away. Big thumbs up here for Broken Blade. Yagao is going to flash on forward. Jankos in trouble. And caps. Immediately the answer comes through from JDG. Broken Blade under the tower.
JDG roam, and they answer it first here. Yagao using that passive on the Taliyah to get there first, gets the counter kill after G2 score.
It's a bloodbath up here, as we expected. Caps was matching Yagao, but Yagao got there first. The stun from Kanavi was beautiful, so Yagao can flash forwards and follow up. Broken Blade is going to lose a lot here, and let's not forget, he doesn't have the TP, so he's going to lose around a wave and a half. Dropped to the tower. 369 will get a demolish proc. I think he'll lose another wave as well. The one that's coming in is 369 just going to proxy this one away.
Oh, it's so fun. When coming in from Champion Select, both teams are saying, yes, we will fight the top triangle of the map.
Yeah.
Send everybody up there. And this is the second meeting of the junglers.
Look at the bot side, actually. Hope's looking for the enemy jungler. He's going to Krugs, wondering if Jankos is there. So Kanavi finds him on the top side, but because 369 has no flash, they just commit onto him first. Kanavi can't really help because he just used his combo, and it looks great for G2 initially, but it's Yagao coming up here, and Jankos over chasing that comes back to bite them.
Exactly. They don't have the extra vision there. Then they Scryer's Bloom, but it's a little bit too late, and Kanavi's able to time his stun right when Yagao gets there. They get that burst down on the kill. It was a really good initial play from G2, though, with the flash from Jankos to be able to start out basically an isolated 2v1 there and take down 369 for the first blood.
And this is where the map will kind of devolve into madness, because Yagao has no flash, so that's another option for Jankos. Caps having the flash means they have really easy gap close, so we'll have to see if that's something that G2 invest in towards. And Alistar with flash that roams towards mid, that's another easy setup for a kill. So now G2 can start to play through mid to top side. JDG will need to cover it.
Really good point, and because JDG, I think, will be expecting that too, they can have Kanavi with the stun from Viego come with his flash and see if they can set up the counter. It looks like he's going to finish up on his Wolves, though, and they're going to give that opening on the support roam timer.
Yeah, Targamas trying to get towards the top side now. Had a little bit of a look around mid lane, but he's going to book it towards the flashless Renekton. Of course, still has Slice available. Apprehend. Broken Blade just walking towards the Crocodile. Does find it there as Targamas is going to turn around, looking to come back. Jankos in the area as well. Kanavi can come up and try to assist. 2 versus 3 at this point in time, but a Weaver's Wall is available here for Yagao. Oh, not quite yet, almost.
Yeah, you talked about this, Atlas, getting the cow out of the paddock, just getting him towards the top side so Blackhead can kind of farm in this 1v2. It looks like he's safe for now. Sivir Yumi, very low dive pressure. The problem is the Alistar will fall behind in levels if he doesn't find a play soon. See if Yagao spots him out over the wall, doesn't decide to ward, and Caps with the mid push means it's very hard to make a play here.
Yeah, I think that's really important that JDG are able to actually breach this first window of the support roam timers that we've been talking up from Champion Select. Nothing, if there's no action during a desynced roam timer on supports, that's very good for JDG. So Targamas gonna have to walk his way all the way back bottom, and they're gonna make the swap here. Look, Flakked going mid on the Seraphine.
Interesting, so that means that Caps will be bots without TP. And that means contesting Herald becomes a whole lot harder in a minute's time. I think G2 are actually going back on that idea and saying, you know what, Flakked, come through mid and try to look for a little bit of vision, help Caps get some kind of control around this mid lane, and then go back towards the bot side with the wave coming in. Herald will be contested by both of these teams.
And Flakked bringing a control ward with him too, off of that reset. Almost semi-support Seraphine coming through with the extra vision through the river, because those roams from mid lane are so important. And that's why these 2 control wards here from G2 so important. Flakked put the bottom one, they put the top one as well to try and see the next move from JDG and answer.
Yeah, Caps taking a bit of damage here in this mid lane. You guys found a couple of shoves against the G2 mid laner. And I want to address the cat in the room, gentlemen, because there is, like, we've been talking about this, like, it's very, very exciting, but cow versus cat, as far as sort of this late-game battle is concerned, yes, very, very good into the Sivir is the
How
Alistair.
big is the cat? Is it a great cat?
Well, it's on a book.
Tiger?
Books aren't generally that large, but they do a lot of winning here at Worlds 2022. Is it going to be an insurmountable problem? You know, that's what I'm worried about here.
I think the Enchanter match is on the Seraphine, right? So the scaling, as it will be favoring in favor of Yuumi, the Seraphine can kind of negate that and even it up until the late game at least. I think the issue with JDG's comp is they don't have any point-and-click hard engage in the sense where they can pick someone off at the blink of an eye. Yes, they can pop the On the Hunt and the Civ and the Yuumi ult on top of that, but G2 have a lot of dashes to escape, whereas G2 have the Alistar. So looking for flanks, looking for angles onto these immobile carries is what G2 will want to do. And then they have all these divers, Seraphine ult over the top of the Darius and the Sylas. It makes sense. JDG need to play the map well with the Taliyah ult.
And I think what we're seeing right now is some really good timings from G2. They're able to go topside with the roam from Targamas first to guarantee the Rift Herald for themselves while not giving up the Dragon. Important for them to be able to focus on those neutral objectives so they can get actually both of them. Kanavi going for the gank though.
Yep, Ghost already popped here as 369 out of slices and dices. And yeah, looking fantastic there, Broken Blade. No need to flash this time around.
Yeah, it's a Ghost trade for an ultimate trade, but you highlighted it there, Kobe. G2 picking up the Herald because of the Alistar move, playing for neutral objectives, and Jankos now pathing towards the bot side, it looks like. Could look for an early Drake. Caps, every time the camera comes here, he's getting hit by the combo. Targamas, though.
Speaking of the combo, a lot of damage here. Great Encore is going to land there from Flacket, and Targamas just tanking them up. Flash out immediately, though, as Hope dives forward. Flacket, yeah, you can't tank all of those minions and Hope. The boomerang! He's going to get it on the return, and that's a kill for the Sivir.
And they're not done yet. Yagao is going in.
Well, he may not necessarily want to, but the seismic shove will pick it up. Oh no! Tripped on the rocks. Jankos will be able to claim it.
It's a
1-for-2 in that particular point.
Yeah, one for one, excuse me, sorry. Yeah, Jankos actually picking that up on the backside. So the Sivir doing so much damage in this lane.
We were wondering about the story of the cat and the cow, but it was really Yagao and the cow, 1-for-1 behind enemy lines. And it leaves Caps pushing in the mid lane there. That's an extra timer. That's not a good 1-for-1 trade there for Yagao, because G2 are going to be able to start up Baron off that due to their mid pressure. Caps easily shoves that in, and another objective for G2. Good snipe from Hope here at the very end, though.
So this is G2's full combo. Everything lands, except they can't get the kill. Ignite's down, everything's down, but yeah. I think the heal was held by missing until the Ignites fell off, then he popped it. Hope with the lethal tempo, weaving an auto attacks and dodging away from Flacket spells, and then this Q just does so much damage. Flacket with no flash gets taken out. Yagao comes in to help out, ends up in a 1-for-1 trade on this lane here as Jankos gets the kill.
Yeah, Jankos happy to receive this one. He's like, wow, great trade. Able to get the extra kill here with his ultimate and his red smite as well. True damage still ticking there. I think the difference maker in the bottom 2v2, Targamas, because he's been roaming so much, was only level 5. So it's level 5 to level 6 on the Yuumi. Big difference. Ultimate there for Yuumi, giving access so much more power for the Sivir Yuumi. And G2 miss out a little bit on that due to the extra roaming. But like we said, they still pick up the Dragon in the aftermath.
Yeah, I think it's very important. Keep stacking these up. G2 now with that slight advantage. And Beat Drop going to come on through just to clear out these minions. Flacket not going to be too worried about that one. Jankos moves down, spots there's this ward here. We'll clear that one out with the help of his Umbral Glaive. And all is a little bit more quiet at this stage of the game. Both teams looking like they're okay with a bit of scaling.
The question is, where does G2 put the Herald down? They're the ones who can make the next play. Yagao, no flash. Jankos hovering around, see if they can for the pick, but no. Caps decides against it. Going on that tower against the Unraveled Earth would be very dangerous.
Ooh, Alcove Gaming.
Yeah, Alcove Gaming coming in here from Kanavi. No flashes on the G2 bot lane.
Oh, there it is. We do have the final chapter coming out. Targamas trying to get out of there. This time he's hit level 6. Does manage to get the trample to get a bit of a stun, but it's not going to be enough. A second kill for the Sivir, and also missing taking down Flacket. Caps will answer towards that mid lane. But still, things just slightly going JDG's way in all of these exchanges.
Herald will be placed, you have to expect here by G2, because Hope's just farming this bot tower for plates. Kanavi's on his way up with missing on his back. It's going to be a 2v2 jungle support versus mid jungle. G2 don't have the Graves ultimate, but they could take the Viego ult. Kanavi has the flash. I think he's here to defend.
Yeah, he has a cat as well. It does have to flash away, though. And that is going to be plates going over to G2. This is actually a great power move from the European representatives here, as Kanavi's going to turn up, denies the actual full take of the turret, as we got a battle on the top side of the map. Broken Blade gives him the thumbs up one more time as he walks away. 369 hemorrhaging a little bit, but he will survive.
So fun to watch here. Both junglers, you know, Jankos went, actually, we're going to have another play right now as Caps and Jankos coming up for the dive on 369. They know he has no ultimate. He does have flash, though.
Yeah, clears out the minion wave very, very comfortably as well. And if 3 people doesn't seem like it's going to work, bring 4. I think is going to be the answer. And Broken Blade just standing just barely out of tower range. Caps picks himself up the Dominus, and it's almost a disaster, but in the end, it works out.
Caps just says, I'll tank, takes Renekton, runs past him, gets the kill, refuses to elaborate. They managed to make the play work without a wave.
You say runs past him, he doesn't even have shoes. I think he just sauntered.
We gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go! It's all about the timers here because bottom side, JDG were making a play at the same time, so that's why Caps is like, hey, we can't wait for these minions. We have to go now. JDG are taking bottom side resources. We need to get this kill off, and they do take down 369.
Yeah, let's just look at the map right now. We're gonna look at the replay first, then we'll take stock of the map, because this is the mid lane play that we missed out on. Yagao's hovering down towards the spot side on the play, seeing if he can impact it with the ult, but he has no flash, of course, so Caps flashes forward with the chains. Despite the knockback, he buffers it to make sure it connects, and then we saw the double kill in bot for JDG. Bot lane ahead for them. Top side, though, that's a 2-0 Darius with the Stride Breaker completed, looking to push in and get these plates. Caps is ahead as well, 35 CS with a kill, so it's the top side for G2 that's ahead, the bot side for JDG, which is ahead as well.
And this is going to become a question of, can G2 deal with this Sivir? Because Hope is going to be so fed, and he also has Ghost and Flash and Yuumi with double defensive summoner spells here to protect himself. And if he can spell shield the Seraphine ult that's bouncing off all the allies' melee's heads, then it could get very difficult for them to actually get back there. And Sivir loves just mowing down melee champions.
Yeah, I think Broken Blade's going to make so much of the difference here. You know, if you can get that Noxian guillotine just resetting over and over, and you can layer Apprehend over a big headbutt Pulverize, right? There is like a wombo combo for G2 if they can actually close the gap and get in on top of JDG, which can be very, very difficult with things like Final Chapter and Spell Shields aplenty.
G2 are hovering around this Herald. They don't have TP, let's not forget, on Broken Blade, but 369 does.
Yeah, Caps is getting enclosed on here as he does manage to dive away. Kanavi right after him, and Caps just out of position this time around. JDG just take away the mid laner.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of a gamble there from G2. They know Broken Blade has Flash Ghost. There's no way he can join. So I think they were just hoping for like a win on the smite there, and they're trying to distract him to buy Jankos some time. But Kanavi gets the smite. They get the Rift Herald.
Big mistake. They're going to lose a lot for this. So the Herald's going to crash on mid tower. JDG will get the mid push. They can contest the Dragon as well, which is spawning because Caps has no TP, and Broken Blade has to give up the bot push. But 369 is top. He has no TP. Broken Blade gets caught out.
Yeah, Seismic Shove is going to connect there as Kanavi slinks into the mist. Broken Blade trying to turn it around. Darius can do these things sometimes, but that is only going to be one knock up there from Targamas, who does have to run away with that ultimate, and now is the time where Hope could find an option. Doesn't have the ult available. Did have to flash there as well as Targamas. Man, that was very close.
Saving Private Broken Blade worked out there from Targamas. Has to invest the flash and the ultimate, so as expected, JDG will pick up this Dragon.
Yeah, it was pretty rough there for G2 because they were hoping, maybe with 369 stuck on top side, they'd be able to get some window for something, but they end up losing so many extra big cooldowns for themselves here with Broken Blade now. No summoners again on this Darius.
Yep, remember, LEC fans, our next matchup is Rogue versus Top Esports. You get another shot at the LPL
Round
if
two.
this doesn't go right in our Mercedes featured matchup. As, okay, Caps back towards the top side here. It was another bit of a saunter past JDG issue, and hopefully he's not going to be doing that one again after the things went wrong at the Herald.
I mean, Caps is definitely the big hope here for G2. He is 50 CS ahead on the Silas, has a stopwatch for big playmaking ability here. And as Cagel's alluding to, a level lead over Yagao as Yagao finally just now hits level 11. So we'll see if Caps can bring it back there for the European squad.
And Caps is going to have to be the side laner here for G2. Flakkit is the mid lane wave clear, and Broken Blade, hang on a second.
No sum?
Yeah, is going to come through here, and not a lot of mobility on good old Darius, and Broken Blade's just going to try and fight this one out. The Apprehend's going to hit a few, but it does not matter whatsoever. 369 picks that one up, gets some revenge.
All of G2 are top side. Broken Blade, not sure what he was looking for there. Walks into the bot side. River has a pink of his own. Maybe he was trying to put a little bit of shallow vision, but now G2 looking on this top side. 369 no TP, but Yagao clears out the wave incredibly quickly. Caps not going to run past the tower again this time.
Yep, Jankos walks over a ward here, so Yagao knows that he made the right choice.
Meanwhile, looking mid here, again, the story for JDG, this Sivir, so strong, especially with the Yuumi. They push mid and rotate over to bottom. Really nice two-lane push from JDG. Good macro here where you see G2 focusing on top side, push in mid, rotate over to the bottom side where 369 already has it up at the turret, and they instantly get that objective.
Yeah, really good macro there from JDG, as you highlighted, Kobe. I mean, G2 will get this top tier 1 as a trade-off, but obviously inner towers are worth more gold, and this will be G2's first tower of the game. That's how much control JDG have had on this. All outer towers gone, bot inner is gone. They can push the waves in deeper, put wards like that on your screen in the middle of the lane to catch the rotations of G2 and be one step ahead.
And it means with those types of wards, your jungle is no longer yours for G2. JDG are going to mine everything from it. Blue buff Gromp taken away here as soon as it spawns. Kanavi waiting around. And it is going to be a very dangerous team fight, fellas.
Yeah, this is a rough one, and it does feel like that Herald fight, the first real mistake that G2 made this game. Ever since that moment, JDG have just not stopped. They have not stopped. They have not let G2 back into this game, and I think that is one of the reasons why this team is so incredibly formidable, right? It takes that one mistake, but then they capitalize and capitalize and capitalize.
JDG have been so controlled, and they did not balk at this Darius pick. They were like, Darius, it's okay. I'm on my Renekton. I'm so comfortable here for 369 on this Renekton. They dealt with the top side map really well. The roam from Yagao, the ganks from Kanavi super early on. Even with G2 getting that first blood, they were able to salvage the situation. And now, you know, Renekton ahead of CS here by quite a substantial margin, a full item complete here as the Death Stance comes in for 369. He is feeling very confident.
Yeah, really ahead in the items. And that's what top teams will do. They'll punish your mistakes in an instant. You know, they get the pick on the caps, your mid tower's gone, your bot tower's gone, Dragon's gone, Broken Blade's being picked off, they have to save him, then he walks into the bot side river again, JDG pounce, and ever since they make these plays, they can snowball them into bigger and bigger leads. Then the bot tier 2 is gone, so JDG sitting in a comfortable gold lead, 1 minute 40 seconds on the next Dragon, so quite far away from a soul, and JDG's Baron damage, not the quickest, but their skirmish incredibly strong if they can find a pick.
Yeah, speaking of which, inside the enemy jungle here, JDG just going to steal away this Brambleback by brute force. They're not going to be able to get any kills, but do manage to locate the jungle, take things away, and get control of this Baron pit as well. Outside of that one pesky little ward there that did give a bit of information over to G2. But still, the map's starting to get real dark.
Yeah, and you're now going to start to see the drawbacks of having a top laner with Flash Ghost. Because it's so much more difficult to play the later game when you have to deal with Baron on the other side of the map and the split pushing becomes so much more tenuous. It's basically like, Caps, okay, your teleport is so critical. That is our biggest cooldown, and his side laning is going to be imperative.
Yeah, it's almost like a Hail Mary play, because once that TP is gone, your side lane pressure is gone, and you're forced to make plays and forced to fight into JDG to stop them from being able to control the sides. And with the Merc Treads and the Death Stance, I think Caps will lose against 369 as well, so it's more of a catching side waves game here for G2, catching mid waves. 35 seconds on this Dragon. I'm not too sure if G2 will look to contest it. Second Dragon stacked up, doesn't hurt you too much. You've got 10 minutes to find a Dragon yourselves. Just hope we can see how much damage it does already.
Yeah. All right, Kadril, as your Hopium dealer, I'll give you a mission for Targamas right now. The Alistar, if he's able to sneak through a bunch of control wards into one of these brush and pull out that engage instantly for G2, I feel like that could be your snap moment. JDG, though, they've controlled vision so well.
Missing is doing so much damage here. Oh no, Targamas is going to have to ult pretty early. 5 seconds on this Drake, like you guys were talking about. It's very important here. Weaver's Wall going to come through. Yagao feeling a little bit feisty, not going to be able to find too much, but JDG, full control of this Dragon. They can take it whenever they want.
G2 just going to give it straight away. No Alice rule, the poke coming out is too strong, and this is the problem that G2 have. Face checking into Taliyah Yuumi is so dangerous because they can just keep chunking out your health bars at such short cooldowns every time you walk up. I think you're right there, Kobe. The Alistar needs to find different angles. Coming from head-on is never going to work. He needs to channel his inner Ignar from Europe to find these crazy Alistar flanks.
Ignar from Europe?
When he was on Misfits, he was great at it.
I would say hide on bush is the strategy here for G2 now.
All right, well, 369 is going to discover Caps, or is it the other way around? They're able to do a fair bit of damage here. Oh! Lands on a 369. The apprehend pulls him back. That's a dead Croc. Is Yagao going to get flashed on? Broken Blade. He's feeling himself. All right, not just going to run it out. It's okay. 1-4-0 in favor of G2. Bought some time, bought some space.
A lot of summoners blown as well. I was ready for that fight to just continue into a big skirmish, but Yagao manages to get out despite the Stridebreaker landing. But look at the summoners on JDG.
Yeah.
Their mid-bot side just lost everything.
Caps accepted the mission. Caps on the the Brush by Raptors over here, able to get a lot of those Summoner spells out. This could be the window because I hate to be the harbinger of doom, but Hope is very close to his Infinity Edge, so maybe if G2 can punish before the Summoner spells come up and before the Infinity Edge comes in, they're going to get a pick onto Yagao.
Yeah, Yagao in, no man's land, doesn't have a flash, doesn't have a Hope, and that is going to be Caps making sure they lock him down. 369 teleported in. I like that Caps committed the flash.
Yeah, and look at the minimap here because Broken Blade's pushing in on bot side. Well, they're bringing up, so there it is. Bot tier 1 is gone. And no TP on 369 helps the side lane out so much because now it's even on this side lane. Broken Blade, once he gets the push, can move and force fights because he knows 369 cannot match. So they have to be very wary of how Broken Blade moves around the map.
Yeah, and this was what we were talking about before, right? JDG found G2's mistake and they capitalized. This time around, though, it's JDG that make the slide error, and G2 definitely getting the most out of it. We'll see whether they can transition this into a victory, because the gold lead is pretty irrelevant at this point in time, right? 3,000 gold at 23.5 minutes, not going to be an issue.
Infinity Edge complete for Hope.
That's big issue.
Three items strong on the Sivir with a 60% crit. And I think we're starting to see how G2's comp functions. Run at them is basically the only way they can make this happen. And Hope and Yagao having no flash. We'll see if G2 tries to punish that. I can imagine Caps taking away the Sivir ult and just sprinting at them while 369's on a side lane with the Dead Man's Plate, with the Darius Ghost. Could be enough to catch up, but with the Sivir ult of their own, they might kite back. Flacket TPing to the mid tier 3. Maybe they were scared of a Baron out there, so they were calling all members to this top side. Still no vision. JDG have started it up. G2 are unaware.
Yeah, but they do have an avenue towards this Baron pit. Of course, vision available for JDG, down to half health. A lot of damage available, like you guys say, onto this Baron. They are just going to back away. No flips this time around. Targamas in a bit of trouble. Slinks into the mist, does Kanava. He's running very quickly. Targamas looking to turn it around, but only finds one knockup. Oh, the encore's just gigantic! Broken at 3, do we get the resets? And we may not even need them. Caps looking for the backline. Hope trying to escape. Final chapter available here for the Silence in G2. I think they've just done it. They found a team fight in Major Sequel Baron.
It's 3 kills. Yankos is down. Caps is on the chase to find Hope, but he has no summoners in the ultimate. G2 are going to go towards this Baron while the despite. I think they can secure it.
They did it! They did it! The fight behind the red buff. G2 are able to take down Baron. Hope and Missing are going towards mid, though. They want to crack open this mid inhibitor tower.
It was JDG who were the ones who forced this. They started up the Baron. They ran into this jungle, and it's Flackhead who lands a huge Seraphine ult into the Darius E to pull them all into the meat grinder of G2. Caps wasn't even there. He was flanking.
Yeah, the Baron is going to go down. It is going to be the tower falling in the mid lane. But here is that wraparound. Secret Agent Count. Targamas gets the knock-up. Headbutt is going to be spell shielded. No, it's not actually. Gets it with the trample, and now Hope trying to chase him down. This Sivir is very, very dangerous as Caps will finally take him down. They'll take that trade because they get Missing as well. The cat can't do anything without his teammate.
Mission success. The Secret Agent pulled it off. They trade a kill across, but that's a big shutdown onto Caps.
Oh my goodness, they did it. They did it. Look at this wraparound. And the over chase, they all clump up here for JDG.
Oh my god.
And look at that Seraphine ult.
And then pulled in by Broken Blade, and then Caps on the left-hand side finds Hope and Missing to push them out.
And the smoke screen from Yankos makes it so they can't see either. Kanabi tries to go in. Look at this. He wraps around for the blast cone over to the Soul, picks it up, but then he just goes down as well. He can't get the execute onto Flacked, so they take out the enemy jungler, just open up an easy way. Look at those reactions!
The triple encore apprehend was not what I was expecting to win the team fight for G2, but I'll take it again if they've got another one. That was such a great team fight. Now with the Baron, let's see whether G2 can push for more advantages.
Caps also stealing the Yuumi ultimate can be really big too.
Really difficult to do.
Yeah, very difficult to do. Cat versus Cat could even it up though, and they're gonna get that dragon.
Yeah, for the first time this game, G2 have a gold lead. JDG going to control this top side of the map as they give up the Drake. Still 10 minutes away from a soul on either side, and they're looking for this top tier 2. No TP on Caps, and he's on the bot side. Maybe it's going to be a trade of towers here. We'll see if G2 can slow down the recalls, though, because Caps has just started hitting onto this tower. Targamas is going to take a base. Yagao similarly.
Should just be a trade. And if trades just keep going like this, you could imagine that G2 are pretty happy about it.
I just filled up all the hopium canisters, baby.
When you said you were the dealer, I was expecting it to just be a bit of a sham, but like, this stuff's real good.
Great. great.
Oh, it worked,
5-star
baby.
review.
All right, Seraphine. Yeah, I mean, Seraphine, we had so much of this in North America as well during playoffs. You know, people were joking about Seraphine, CEO of North American playoffs, scaling and dominating so much with these big, clumped up melee comps, but you saw it right there. Especially if the enemy clumps up in a jungle fight.
Yeah.
When you can bounce that ultimate off, you get that giant opening for yourselves. G2 are able to push it through, and now back on even footing.
Yeah, definitely, and slightly ahead in levels. I think that's the biggest thing here for G2. Broken Blade's up a level, Jankos up a level, Caps is up 2, and Flakkid's ahead of Hope right now in experience. Jankos even split pushing, taking these side waves, getting really strong on this Graves. Baron buffs off in 10 seconds. They have this one wave to play on for a top tier 2 if they so choose to do so, but I think with Jankos' positioning, they're just making this wave crash. Looks like they will probably back away. Caps' TP has just come up if they fancy themselves a fight, though.
Yep. Bit dangerous there for 369. Decides not to take the short way over. Does in the end as he gets a bit more information. G2 slink back into the fog of war as Kanavi has collected up his cat. Is going to take it for a walk. Cats generally don't enjoy that, but he is going to do it anyway. Caps here towards the bottom side, and he's just going to continue the 1-3-1. And I really like how G2 have side lane, because that, I think, is a large reason why they have these experience leads.
I just imagine Atlas now, the hipster, walking down the middle.
I tried
of the
it. My
street.
cat's not into it, man.
Sunglasses on.
You did try it.
Yeah.
At least he tried. Put
He's
forth
a
the
rescue
effort.
cat, you know? I thought that he'd be okay with it.
All right, we're about to get into the side laning we're talking about previously, though, where G2 have to send Caps. The teleport side lane usage here for him. His teleport is available. He's level 16 now with all that extra experience funneled into him. The Silas is so critical, and there is a ward he could teleport in onto.
Oh, the apprehend over the wall gets a 2-for-1 special as well as the knockup comes in. There's the flash for Kanavi to get him out of trouble. Are there enough cooldowns left here? As Hope has full health, and that is always so dangerous. Only the Ghost used.
Yeah, and it's a flash from Kanavi. Couple ultimates used on either side. We'll see if JDG wants to take this fight because the Encore is on cooldown. The Alistar ult is down as well, so that really helps JDG in getting through his front line and maneuvering towards the back line. They're going to barrel down mid here. Open inhibitor for G2. They're all trying to recall as quickly as possible. I think they'll pick this one up before G2 arrives.
Yeah, I was very confused because there's 2 minutes on the Drake. Like, what are we fighting for in that river? But JDG did look for it and then realized they could possibly take this inhibitor. G2 make it back, and the inhibitor just barely survives. Broken Blade looking for his opportunity. Deadman's plate in his hands as well.
I think one of the most critical cooldowns is that Seraphine ultimate, and
yeah.
when that thing whiffs there for the team fight, you can tell Broken Blade, he's flirting with the flank, but you don't actually want to get that engaged without Flakkid's ult ready for another big team fight.
But you said it, Atlas. There's no objectives, so they're just fighting over a vision right now, and G2 thought they had a pick. Caps wasn't really there in time, so they couldn't fully commit. And when the Sivir can stack up her lethal tempo and start free hitting with the Ghost and ult, you really can't outstop her as G2 if you don't burn through their front line. So now they're setting up some vision towards this top side. 50 seconds on the Baron. And we'll see if G2 are the ones who decide to rush it and try to burn it down and maybe look for a turn with Target Mass's flash onto Kanavi.
Yeah, if you can control the vision and force them to come through either of these small corridors to line up for one of those Seraphine ultimates, then you can enable yourselves a really, really easy team fight. But JDG trying to get in there and clear some of that vision out themselves.
Yeah, some of the problems here for G2 are, though, is that they just don't have enough damage for the Baron quickly enough, right? Like, this is a team that does not have a conventional AD carry, and so bursting down the Baron when JDG are out of position isn't really that much of an option.
Yeah, definitely. I think if they do start it up, they have to look for turns or forcing 369 TP and then backing off. This will really help him in the side lanes because he's on the bot side of the map right now, and that means that Broken Blade can push out that lane a lot easier. But with 40 seconds on the Dragon, I wonder if G2 just put a little bit of vision around this Baron just to make sure that JDG don't try to sneak it under their noses and then take a 5v5 around this Dragon spawning 30 seconds. Puts soul point for either side. Mid-wave contest here from G2. Caps has the TP, trying to find Yagao on the left-hand side of the lane there. It's not going to find him. Pink ward dropped and see him take a base.
Yeah, big zoom out comes on forward here as Kanavi. It's a bit camouflage. 369 on a split now towards that bottom side. And Yagao is going to regroup with the rest of his team. Of course,
they're rushing it.
Okay, we're going to try. We're going to give it a crack. Try and burst down this Baron as best we can on the side of G2. JDG probably know exactly what's going on. 369 teleports in, like you were talking about, Kadril. They do manage to get that summoner spell, but G2 are still on it, looking for that turn opportunity. Flakkid, great positioning there. Safe up towards the north as Targamas on the flank. Spotted out by Yagao. That's a decent little snare onto 369. On the hunt has been popped. The Baron is still leashed. Targamas has now used the ultimate, now wants his opportunity to get in. There's the knockup, so much damage on the Caps, but he goes golden. Oh, the flick and the shutdown here for Kanavi. Caps goes down, Targamas survives for so long. Jankos is massive in this fight as well as Broken Blade. huge. So JDG are still very scary, but G2 just won another fight.
It's absolute mayhem. What the hell is going on? G2 stuck on that Baron for so long. Caps was 20% HP before the bloody fight even started.
It was Jankos, the hitman in the backside, takes out Yagao and the Yuumi himself, and then escapes down to the bottom side. So it is 3 members still alive for G2. Jankos is going to finish his recall there, though. Even though he does have Smite, he's not going to stick around for this deal. And JDG, without perfect information, they don't know. They're not going to burn it down. With the DPS they could have done it, but they didn't know where Jankos was, and that Smite sniffing around for the steal.
So they dropped the Dragon, waiting for respawns. Yagao has the Talia ult if they want to make a fast play onto this Baron. Flakked respawning with the TP. We'll see if they decide to start it up. A lot of pings coming down here. I think G2 are cautious, a bit wary as to whether JDG are going to do it. And yes, they are. Flakked TP coming in. Yagao TP on the spellbook coming in. Kanavi's almost here with missing. The 5v5 round 2 is on the cards.
Comes G2. Half the health bar on the Baron. They just pull away. JDG, that was their invitation to the Thunderdome. G2, they definitely accepted it.
We're in a game state here with no TPs on either side, so grouping mid is the only play for both of them. And Dragon's up, G2 look at position towards it. Targamas.
Oh, could be in trouble here. Does use the Unbreakable will. Caps diving forward as well. The Weavers will block them all. The encore is massive yet again, and the resets are now starting to come through. Yagao goes down. Hojo is doing so much damage, and the resurrection does not seem to matter whatsoever. There is the Sivir damage, and JDG, they might just win right here.
And Hope will mow them all down as he takes that from G2, running straight to the base.
They're gonna end. The hope was definitely missing, gentlemen, in that particular team fight. JDG now pushing towards Nexus turrets. I'm pretty sure that joke has been done many times before. But man, G2 made them work for it. JDG will remain undefeated in the group for their first week at groups.
What a game and what a way to end it. Of course, it's just a bloodbath in the mid lane where JDG, Hope, with the Sivir and the Yuumi on his back, kites them out. Yagao gets caught in that fight, but it's Hope who they can rely on.
Yep. Dread it, run from it. Hope still arrives with the Sivir to mow them all down. 4 items crit with the Infinity Edge, and Yuumi strapped on top. What a game, though.
Yeah.
G2 made it so interesting there with the comeback, trying to group up for the Seraphine ball composition.
It was a game that I wasn't expecting, gentlemen. I thought it was going to be a bit more one-sided than that, and I was believing towards the end that G2 had so many moments, and sometimes, you know, Sivir Yuumi comes at you real fast towards the late game, but man, this was more than I was expecting.
I'm still going over to that last Weaver's wall from Yagao. Before he gets caught, he cuts off Targamas, so they get the pick onto the Alistar. They force the ult out and a lot of DPS into him early, and the wall just sections off G2. They can't